boys and girls. Today I'm going to read about 2 or 3 of these little chapters that they have in this book. And we're going to continue thinking about comparing and contrasting. So we've already compared and contrasted 2 of the characters with each other. And then I asked you to compare and contrast one of the characters with yourself and the character traits that you have. And today I want you to think about we've been reading Holes as a class before this big crazy break. So I want you to try to remember Holes, and I want you to think of how you would compare and contrast Holes with the story we're reading today. Chapter 7. Red crash helmets and white jumpsuits. After the movies, Tom walked home with Billy. Tomorrow, I'll roll the crawler in cornmeal and fry it like a trout. It's not really the taste, said Billy. It's more the thought. When I start to eat it, even though it's smothered in ketchup and mustard and grated cheese, I can't stop thinking worm. Worm, 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 worm. Gaggles of worms in bait boxes, drowned worms drying up on sidewalks, a worm squirming as the fish hook gores him, the soggy end of a worm dragging out of a dead fish's mouth, robins yanking worms out of the lawn. I can't stop thinking worm. Have you guys seen many earthworms? Do you go fishing sometimes and use worms? When I grew up in Abbott Falls, every time it would rain, all the worms would come out of the grass and onto the sidewalk, and lots of time they would get dried up on the sidewalk once the sun came out. Yeah, but if I fry it in cornmeal, it won't look like a crawler, said Tom. I'll put parsley around it and some slices of lemon, and then you can concentrate. Think fish. All the time you're waiting in the barn, all the time you're eating it, say to yourself, fish, 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 fish. Here I am eating fish, good fish. Trout, salmon, flounder, perch. I'll ride my mini bike into church. Dace, tuna, haddock, trout. Wait till you hear the minister shout. Fish, 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 fish. Shark, haddock, sucker, eel. I'll race my father in an automobile. Eel, flounder, bluegill, shark. We'll race all day till after dark. Billy cheered up. Think how they'd all stare. I'd rev up the aisle, zip around the front pews, down a side aisle, under the stained glass windows. My parents would kill me. Reverend Yander would peer down over the Bible stand. William, he'd cry. William, you take that engine thing out of here this minute. Yeah, and then they'd come chasing out after us, said Tom. Billy laughed, waving their arms and yelling, and we'd lead them zigzag around and in and out and among the gravestones and monuments in the cemetery, and then roar off down the Sandgate Road, leaving them draped over tombs, panting and shaking their fists. Hop, hop, yelled Tom, dancing around and boxing the air. And that Monday, we'd smuggle it into class disguised as Raymond Dwelly because he's so fat, and hide it in the coat closet. And then when Millie Butler said anything at all, even something like, excuse me, or if she even sniffed, we'd dump a whole bottle of ink and run for the coat closet, overturning chairs and desks behind us to slow up Mrs. Howard. She'd come running after us, fuming and shouting threats, and suddenly the doors of the coat closet would slam open, and out we'd roar on our mini bikes in blood red crash helmets and white jumpsuits, our scarves steaming out behind us, and we'd roar round and round among the classroom while Mrs. Howard knelt among the overturned desks and chairs, sobbing helplessly into her hands, and then vroom, vroom out the door and up the hall, thumbing our noses at the monitors. brackety, brackety, brackety up the stairs, stiff-arming tacklers into Mr. Simmons' office, up onto his desk, boom, boom, a backfire into his face, and zoom out the window as he topples backwards in his chair in a hurricane of quiz papers and report cards. And then, crunch, landing on the driveway, we roar off down the highway to Bennington and join the Navy. So Mrs. Howard and Mr. Simmons and our parents can't punish it. Can't punish us. They're kind of naughty boys, aren't they? Think about that with their character traits. Chapter 8, The Third Worm. Tom ran out of the kitchen of Billy's house, holding the sizzling frying pan out in front of him with both hands, the screen door banging behind him. Alan threw open the barn door when he saw him coming. Tom thumped the frying pan down on the orange crate. There, he said breathlessly, done to a T. Look at her, all golden brown and sizzling. It looks good enough to eat. Yeah, said Billy. He poked the worm with his fork. Tom took off the potholder glove he was wearing. Think fish, he said. Remember, fish, fish, trout, salmon, flounder, perch, all ride my mini bike into church, eel, salmon, bluegill, trout. Wait till you hear the minister shout. Clam, flounder, tuna, sucker, look out, here we come, Mr. Tucker. Lobster, black bass, oyster stew. There goes New Orleans, here comes Peru. He leaned over Billy and whispered in his ear, fish, 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 fish. Go on, take a bite. Fish, 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 fish. Okay, second bite. Fish, fish, fish. Chapter 9, The Plotters. Geez, you think it'll work? Said Alan to Joe. Suppose it doesn't. He didn't seem to pay much attention today. Don't worry, said Joe. We got him thinking. It takes time. I got it all doped out. Trust me. That's all for today, boys and girls. I hope you're thinking about what's the same and what's different with this book and Holes. I've already thought of a few things. I'd like to hear about what you're thinking of. We'll see you Monday. Bye.